San Diego Comic-Con has always been a place of surprises, but nothing could have prepared the crowd inside Hall H for the emotional storm that Sam Heughan unleashed during the Outlander panel. The air was already electric, thousands of fans clutching banners, cosplaying as Claire in her corseted gowns or Jamie in full Highland regalia, waiting for their favorite cast members to take the stage. But when Heughan, the man who has embodied Jamie Fraser for more than a decade, leaned into the microphone and dropped a confession that tied back to one of the show's most heartbreaking moments, you could feel the collective gasp ripple across the room. And sitting just a few feet away, Caitríona Balfe, his on-screen wife and scene partner since 2014, was left visibly shaken, almost speechless. The panel began like many others. Sophie Skelton and Richard Rankin, who play Brianna and Roger, bantered with the crowd. The executive producers Matthew B. Roberts and Meryl Davis fielded questions about behind-the-scenes challenges and teased the visual grandeur of the upcoming episodes. Then came the question that would set the internet ablaze. A fan asked if there was any significance to the tragic storyline from Season 2, when Claire and Jamie lost their daughter Faith. It was a moment of heartbreak that had scarred both characters and fans alike. For years, the topic had been treated with careful sensitivity, rarely brought back into the spotlight. But this time, Sam didn't dodge the question. "There's perhaps a song there that gives us the jumping-off point for Season 8, Heughan said, his tone thoughtful, almost hesitant, as though weighing whether he should reveal this much. Then he added, "We're going to explore that, the faith of it all. It's really intriguing, and for Jamie and Claire, it's mind-blowing. Their world is about to change." The room went silent before exploding into cheers and gasps. Fans clutched at each other's hands. Social media lit up within seconds, tweets flooding in with phrases like, "Did he just say faith?" and "I'm shaking. Season 8 is going to ruin us all." But it wasn't just the fans reacting. Caitríona Balfe herself looked stunned. Eyewitnesses reported that she blinked rapidly, her lips parting as though to respond, then simply smiled and shook her head in disbelief. For someone who has shared nearly every emotional beat of Claire's journey, Balfe appeared genuinely caught off guard by her co-star's words. It was as if Sam had not only confessed to the crowd but also to her, live, in real time. The chemistry that has anchored Outlander for nearly a decade was on display once again, not through a scripted line, but through a raw, unscripted reaction. And yet, the significance of Sam's confession ran deeper than just an emotional callback. For longtime fans, the mention of faith struck a chord that was both nostalgic and painful. The Season 2 storyline had been one of the show's most devastating, cementing Outlander's reputation for unflinching drama. To suggest that this wound would be reopened in the final season hinted at a narrative that was about to come full circle. It wasn't just about revisiting the past, it was about redefining the ending. As the panel continued, fans were introduced to new supporting characters: Harriet Slater, Jamie Roy, Hermione Corfield, and Jeremy Irvine, whose storylines would intertwine with Claire and Jamie's. The reveal of a parallel narrative set during the First World War, focusing on Claire's parents, Julia Morriston and Henry Beauchamp, also added an unexpected layer to the drama. Suddenly, Outlander was expanding its scope, weaving time travel not just through Claire's personal journey but through her very bloodline. Still, it was Sam's moment of vulnerability, the slip, or perhaps intentional tease, that overshadowed everything else. Caitríona, normally articulate and composed during panels, remained unusually quiet in the moments following the revelation. When pressed later about how she felt about exploring faith again, she laughed nervously, deflecting with a simple, "I think Sam has said enough already." The audience erupted in laughter, but it was clear she was treading carefully, refusing to add fuel to the wildfire Sam had sparked. Meanwhile, fans online were already theorizing. Was Faith's memory going to serve as a turning point for Claire and Jamie's final chapter? Would the story bend toward closure, or tragedy? And what exactly did Sam mean when he said their world was about to change? For every fan who cheered at the promise of deeper emotional exploration, there were others who admitted they weren't ready. One viral tweet captured the bittersweet mood perfectly. "I can wait for Season 8, Because once it comes, then that really is the end. Outlander has never been afraid of emotional gut punches, but Sam's confession suggested that the finale would be more than just a farewell. It would be a reckoning. As Hall H emptied and the cast posed for photos, Caitríona Balfe's speechlessness lingered in everyone's minds. It was the unscripted moment that proved even after 11 years, Outlander could still surprise not only its fans, but its stars. And with Sam Heughan's revelation now etched into fandom memory, Season 8 no longer felt like just another chapter. It felt like a confession, the kind that leaves you breathless, speechless, and desperate for more. When Sam Heughan uttered those words at San Diego Comic-Con, he wasn't just teasing a plot point. He was closing a circle, one that began in 2014 when Outlander first burst onto television screens, turning Diana Gabaldon's novels into a living, breathing phenomenon. For 11 years, Jamie and Claire's story has carried fans across centuries, through heartbreaks and reunions, revolutions and wars. And now, with Season 8 confirmed as the final chapter, Sam's confession landed like a thunderclap. The end is not only coming, but it may cut deeper than anyone expected. Outlander has always been more than just a television series. At its heart, it's a love story. One so timeless and consuming that audiences across the globe felt pulled into its gravitational force. Claire Randall, a modern-day nurse flung back to the 18th century, and Jamie Fraser, the Highland warrior who becomes her anchor, embody the kind of devotion that transcends reason. Their bond has been tested by politics, by war, by betrayal, even by time itself. Yet, as fans know, Outlander is just as much about loss as it is about love. Season 7 ended with Claire and Jamie's return to Scotland, a symbolic homecoming that felt both nostalgic and foreboding. The cliffhanger left fans hanging on every beat, desperate to know what was next. And then came Sam's words about faith, a reminder that in Outlander, the past is never truly gone. By revisiting their greatest sorrow, the writers are signaling that Season 8 will not allow these characters to fade quietly. Instead, it will confront them with their deepest wounds. For Caitríona Balfe's Claire, and for Sam Heughan's Jamie, that means revisiting the very pain that defined their strength. But beyond the storyline, there is the legacy. Outlander reshaped the television landscape in ways few expected. Historical fantasy dramas were hardly mainstream in 2014, yet the series proved that audiences craved complex characters set against sprawling backdrops of history and myth. It wasn't just about the romance. It was about how history itself bent and shifted around these two characters, and how love could survive even when the world seemed determined to tear it apart. The show also elevated its cast. Caitríona Balfe, once a model making the leap into acting, became a Golden Globe-nominated performer, lauded for her emotional depth and fierce portrayal of Claire. Sam Heughan, already known in certain circles in Scotland, was catapulted into international stardom, dubbed television's sexiest Scotsman, and later carving out a career that spans whiskey brands, memoirs, and Hollywood films. Sophie Skelton and Richard Rankin grew into their roles as Brianna and Roger, creating a generational legacy within the story itself. Outlander wasn't just a stepping stone for careers, it became a defining chapter in their lives. And yet, for all its success, Outlander has always belonged to its fans. The fandom built communities across continents, from cosplay conventions to book clubs to sprawling online forums. They dissect every episode, analyze every line, and celebrate every nuance of Jamie and Claire's love story. To them, Season 8 isn't just another television finale, it's the closing of a chapter in their own lives. Many fans admit they're torn. They crave the closure, but they also fear the emptiness that will follow. Sam's confession that their world is about to change only deepened this bittersweet tension. Was he hinting at a tragic ending? Or would Outlander leave fans with a hopeful, if heart-wrenching, conclusion? Theories abound. Some believe Claire and Jamie will finally find peace in Scotland. Others suspect time travel will once again rip them apart, and a few even fear that one or both characters will meet their end. Whatever the outcome, the promise of revisiting faith suggests that the finale will mirror the beginning, an emotional full circle that underscores the fragility and resilience of love. For Caitríona Balfe, Sam Heughan, and the rest of the cast, Season 8 represents not just the end of a job, but the end of a family. Balfe has spoken often about how Outlander gave her a second life, one she never expected. Sam has admitted that playing Jamie Fraser has shaped him as much as he has shaped the role. To walk away after more than a decade will be, in their own words, like saying goodbye to a piece of themselves. Perhaps that's why Caitríona was left speechless at Comic-Con. She wasn't just reacting as Claire. She was reacting as Caitríona, the woman who has lived with this story, this family, this fandom, for over a decade. Sam's confession wasn't just a teaser. It was a reminder that this shared journey is nearing its end. And so, as Season 8 looms on the horizon, fans brace themselves. They know they aren't ready, as one viral tweet put it, because once it comes, then that really is the end. Outlander will live on in books, in reruns, in spin-offs perhaps, but nothing will ever quite match the magic of watching Jamie and Claire fight for each other against impossible odds. Sam Heughan's confession has set the stage. Caitríona Balfe's silence has sealed it. Season 8 isn't just the end of Outlander. It's the final confession of two characters, two actors, and millions of fans who have traveled through time together. And when the credits roll for the last time, one truth will remain. Some love stories are so powerful, they leave you speechless.